One of my favourite pastimes is putting Deandre Ayton down. After failing to live up to the hype as the number 1 overall pick, he found some success with the Chris Paul Phoenix Suns, but it was short-lived and he was eventually traded to Portland for next to nothing. His time in Portland was underwhelming to say the least, and this offseason the Blazers and Ayton agreed to a buyout and boy, it looked ugly for the big man's future career. The LA Lakers were in desperate need of buy low swings in the offseason, and they hoped to bring in cheap contributors around the new core of Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves. With a bit of draft pedigree still hanging around and impressive counting stats, it seemed like a marriage of convenience doomed to become inconvenient in short order. But a quarter away through the season, Ayton is thriving in his role, and it's making me reconsider my constant campaigning against him. So I've decided to take a deep dive into his season this year and ask the question, is Deandre Ayton good now? Let's start off with the basics. He's averaging just over 15 points a night with 8.8 rebounds and 1.1 blocks. He's getting there on 71% shooting from the field, a career high by a long way, and he trails only Rudy Gobert across the entire league this season. Ayton's doing this all on a career low usage of 15.2%, and his shooting profile has changed compared to previous seasons. He's still a versatile finisher as a big with an unblockable mid-range game, but playing next to elite creators like Doncic and Reeves has pushed him off the ball more. He's being assisted on 82% of his field goal attempts per cleaning the glass. For comparison, he was assisted on only 72% in the 2020-21 season, the year that Phoenix made the finals with Chris Paul. It's pretty clear that he's playing a more limited role, but it's doing wonders for his efficiency. In that 2020-21 season, he was assisted on just 77% of his mid-range attempts. That number is 92% this season. His efficiency in the mid-range is being weaponized by players like Luka, who can use the threat of a catch-and-shoot midi to warp defenses in the pick and pop, not just as a ground-bound roller. Part of what rubbed people the wrong way in Phoenix and later on with the Trailblazers was his need to create his own shot. Yes, it's fair that a team might have wanted to explore the studio space a little bit more, but the Trailblazers were regularly worse on offense when he was out there. That takes us to the other side of the ball. Using a catch-all statistic like on-off, the Lakers are 1.5 points worse on defense per 100 possessions when Deandre Ayton's out there. That drop-off isn't the be-all and end-all, however, this season the Lakers are 7th in offense and 20th in defense using cleaning the glass as garbage time metrics. The Lakers do this season have an above average point differential, and that's good for 14th in the league, but they have won 3.9 more games compared to their expected wins. So the Lakers are potentially playing over their heads through the first quarter of the season, buoyed by their elite offense. But that's where the questions start to creep in about Ayton's effectiveness. He has started every game for the Lakers and is playing just under 30 minutes a night. Center is the most important defensive position, and if you don't believe me, you can find a link to my friends arguing about it on the Deep to NBA podcast on your screen now. And Ayton, as center for this defense, must be held to blame in a large part. No, he's not surrounded by the best defensive talent. There's Marcus Smart, the team's best perimeter defender, who's kind of hard to play at times because of his lackluster offense. The same can be said for Jared Vanderbilt. And the only other players on the entire roster with a positive on-off figure on defense is Austin Reeves, surprisingly Luka Doncic, and Nick Smith Jr. Ayton isn't a versatile defender. He's a ground-bound big who can't keep up with perimeter players, and that's fine. But for a player of his archetype to work on an elite level, he needs to be able to defend the rim at a high level, and he simply hasn't done that yet, either throughout his entire career or especially this season in this sample size that we have. In fact, teams are taking 1.5% more shots at the rim according to cleaning the glass while he's out there, and he only has a marginal positive impact on those shots as opponents shoot minus 0.4% on shots at the rim when he's there. When looking at the entire league and the centers around him when it comes to this sort of shot profile that he's encouraging and affecting, he is surrounded by Nikola Vucevic and Alperen Şengün in this metric. So that's the kind of rim protector that we're talking about here. So let's go back to the title of this video. Is Deandre Ayton good? The Lakers added Deandre Ayton it's fair to say isn't an abject disaster right now. He wasn't a starting level center for the past few seasons, but he has found a lovely home next to Luka Doncic on this LA team. But it's important to note that after the number of games that we've seen thus far, he's not the long-term solution at this position. So what does the future hold? Well, at the moment, he might just be a supercharged version of Jackson Hayes that is a great complementary offensive beast, but he can't hold up on defense. So what should Rob Pelinka and the Lakers front office do? For the remainder of the season, it's okay to do nothing. Ayton will put up some juicy numbers, continue to develop chemistry with the team stars, and maybe even get better on the defensive end. However, if a trade opportunity comes along to improve on the center position, he should pounce. If LeBron James retires this offseason and the Lakers become players in free agency, Pelinka needs to decide whether he's going to prioritize a different guy at the 5, build on the roster elsewhere. Or he could go and find a complementary front court player to paper over some of Deandre Ayton's weaknesses in that area. What Ayton has proven is that he's good at being 7 foot tall next to an elite playmaker. He fits an archetype of a player who can almost convince you he's good enough to be in the spot long term, but ultimately he might hold you back.